Right. How did you get tied up with going off to Atlanta? Tell us about that.
Well, Carolina Tarheels were on radio regular in those days. They had live talent, of course, never. You could always make a job for yourself in those days, you know. They was always glad to get talent. And there's a fellow named Claude Davis had these boys. There's 4 or 5 of them. Brought them up to Dayton. And I don't know who sponsored the program, but my brother-in-law, Wayne Colford, he wasn't my brother-in-law then, but later became my brother-in-law. He's my best friend. We ran around together. So we went up to hear them, and naturally I want to go back and talk to them, musicians, you know.
Where did they play that night?
At the high school in Dayton, Tennessee. And they asked me if I played about around, either one of us played, and Wayne, of course, he spoke up and said, "Yeah, boy, he's the best in the country." And I said, "Oh, Lord." And, so Wayne, he said, "Play him a tune, Fox." So I played a tune on the fiddle, played the harmonica a little bit for him, and Davis asked me what I was doing, and I said, "Well, working sawmill." From Candle Caint, I was off bearing. You know what that is, Tom.
Sure do.
Grab them 7 or 9 ties, and you'll find out one of them green ends of it. And it ain't what you can lift, it's grab it. So anyway, from that, he said, "Well, would you like to have a job work for me?" And I said, "Well, yeah. Do you pay? What do you pay?" I figured he'd say $1 a night or something. He said, "I'll give you $17 a week and your board." And man, I like to fainted. I didn't want him to know that I was excited about it. But anyway, $17 a week in my board. I was only making around $9.50 or $10 from Candle Caint. That's from when you could see and when you couldn't.
Sure.
And that was 10 hours anyway. That's what they called it. We didn't go by the clock. So I took the job, and to make a long story short, I caught on right away. You know, there was money in it, and it was a business. It wasn't a vacation. I soon found that out. So and about 4 months after I joined them, he and I got into. I found out he ran that band by brute force. No kidding. 2 of these kids were his nephews, and the other guy, he was afraid of losing his job because he got to drive the car. So. And he had an old-time Baltimore guy with him named Red Freeze. He was an old-timer. But I seen that we were doing the show. So we was going down South Georgia. Never will forget it. And he had a great big Hudson Super 6, man. And a trailer match, painted to match. Oh, he was a dog. And we were driving along, and something came up, and he got on my... He was going to whip me, you know. He's going to put me in the cage with the rest of them, he thought. But I was just ignorant enough from out of the woods, and I said, "Well, you stop this car, and I'll whoop you on less ground than you were born on, boy." And he weighed about 250 pounds, and I only weighed about 150, you know. But I was wiry. So we got into it, and when we stopped, the funny thing about it, when he stopped the car, he said, "Stop the car, Slim, stop the car." And I was already, we'd got a hold of some Tanglefoot whiskey up the road, frankly. We'd all had a few drinks, you know. It wasn't working anyway, so was driving to South Georgia, which is a long ways, you know, from Atlanta. Vidalia, Georgia, was where we were going. That's way on down. In those days. So when they stopped the car, he seen I was going to beat him out. So I wasn't going to let him get me first, as big as he was. It was right on the edge of Dublin, Georgia. On sand, pulled off on a sand road. And when he got out, he said, "Well, I'm going to tell you," he said, "whiskey is the cause of all this." You want to wind it off? But anyway, he said, "Whiskey is the cause of all of it." And I knew right then that I could say, "Well, buddy, you ain't as tough as you think you are."
He backed down on you, didn't
and he backed out,
right.
See. So we get back in the car, and I thought to myself, well, I see how he's been running the band, and he's making these boys afraid to say anything. So anyway, I didn't have sense enough to be afraid, I don't think. I learned later. But anyway, it wasn't long after he couldn't stand it because I'd called his hand, see. So he told Slim, said, "Pull over. I'll teach this young man a lesson." I said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. Pull over. This time you ain't backing out." So, well, when we stopped, he got out, and I was out first. I hit the ground first, man. And he got out. He went around the other way instead of coming back where I was. He went around the other way. He said, "I'll tell you what, I'll just pay you off." I said, "That's the best thing I've heard in a long time. Where I ain't had a cent for a month. The time I was getting paid." And when I said I was going to quit, and his two nephews said they was going to quit, and he turned around and slapped one of them about 20. Always a mess, man. And he had a lock on the trailer. It was a big Yale lock. Well, I wasn't paying any attention. I didn't think about the guy hitting me in my back. And boy, he popped me up on the eye with the side of the head with a big lock in it. I saw a million stars. Well, we got together anyway, and I was a little too fast for him. And he runs into me to throw me down, and I tripped him and threw him. And when I did, I couldn't hit him, so I just grabbed all I could get in my mouth in his jaw right here, and I come through it. I had pretty sharp teeth too, brother. We both looked like we'd been a slaughter pen, and he thought I'd cut him. And I had one of those old Arkansas toothpick knives, striping handles they used to have. You've seen them, one blade. And I had it in my watch pocket down in my belt, I was scared of it. He says, "Come here, Slim, and says he's got a blade." I had did it with a knife or nothing. And then I thought, when I said, "You open your mouth and I'll cut your head off." Boy, I really punished him for that, just for meanness. And as luck would have it, I got my junk out of the trailer, fiddle. I bought that country ham for $3. Remind me? $3, really, where we got drinking that whiskey up at that man's place. Me and Slim, he took us to the bus station. Boy, he was bloody as a hog. And poor fellow, I felt bad about it later, because I saw Claude a number of years after that, and he had a blue mark. The doctor must not have cleaned it out very much. There's a half moon right there where I bit him that time. Oh, goodness. But anyway, we went back to Atlanta, and Mr. K, he'd had trouble with Lambton K, who was general manager of WSB. He's the one I was telling you. Scotty used to come on and say, "This is WSB, Atlanta Journal, to Biltmore. The Journal covers Dixie like the dew." It was really a sign on and sign off. But anyway, he fired Davis and gave me a spot. Now, that's my first band called Curly Fox and the Tennessee Firecrackers. Yeah, that's what we named them.
When was that?
That was in 33. Video.